welcome to Preparing for a Virtual Career Fair. My name is Patty Woods. I'm a career advisor here in the Lazarus Center for Career Development, and I'm here with Kate Traskis, the Assistant Director of Employer Relations, and we're very excited to be talking to you about preparing for a virtual career fair. So our learning objectives for today are to go over the purpose and benefits of attending a virtual career fair. I know you had said you've gone in person at NAIA, and there's benefits of a virtual and in-person career fair that we're going to share with you today. We're going to go over registration information for the upcoming Smith College Business, Finance, Engineering, and Tech Fair that's being held next week on Wednesday, September 29th from 1 to 4, and talk about ways to be successful during this fair. Okay, so what is a virtual career fair? It's really an online space for job seekers, that's you, and internship seekers to connect with employers and to learn about internship opportunities. It's also a great way for employers to find you. This career fair next week is specifically employers looking to connect with Smith College students, Mount Holyoke students, and Amherst College students. So you will be in a room together, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. The benefits of a virtual career fair are, for those of you who've been to an in-person fair, there's no more lines. So even for an extrovert like me, who would go into a career fair in a big gymnasium or conference room, it can feel sometimes a little overwhelming when you see tables of hiring managers or employers. And the virtual career fair allows you to claim your time slot in advance of the career fair and also have a one-on-one quiet Zoom conversation, what feels like Zoom conversation, virtually with an employer. It also allows you to utilize your Handshake profile in a much more meaningful way versus solely relying on your resume. Okay, so why should you attend? Well, if you've ever wanted to ask a question to an employer and just can't find it on their website, this is a great way to ask your personalized questions. It's also a great way to practice your pitch, which is simply a way of saying who you are and why you're interested in an employer. It's a great way to sort of practice what it would feel like to go into an interview without it actually being an interview. So it's good practice. It allows you to connect with future employers that you might want to work for in advance. So begin establishing those relationships. And again, for you to ask quality questions that help you determine, is this a place that I would like to apply?
This is also a great opportunity in a larger sense to get an idea of industries. So, we're bringing together business and tech and finance. And so it's really a great way to kind of dip your toe in and see, oh, is this something I might be interested? You're not committing right here. You're having an introductory conversation. So that's just something also to think about.
Thank you so much, Kate. And you can also use a lot of this content in any cover letters that you might be writing if you're interested in an internship or a job with these employers. So a lot of information can come from the career fair conversations. So now we're going to go over some 5 simple steps to success before we log into the Handshake platform to show you these things. So like I said, we will jump into Handshake in a minute, but this is what we're going to do when we jump into Handshake. First, we're going to show you how to update your profile. This is very important to do before the fair. And this includes updating your interests, your class major, making sure your resume is uploaded and visible to the employers, and identifying your employment status. So we'll walk through that in a moment. Then we're going to show you how to actually register for the upcoming fair next week. And we're going to show you how to sign up for information sessions. So how to schedule one-on-one with the employers. So registering for the fair isn't enough. You'll register, but then you'll also want to schedule a one-on-one or group session with the employer. So a one-on-one session is a 10-minute virtual session between just you and the employer. In this setting, you want to make sure you've done your research, are able to introduce yourself, and definitely have one or two thoughtful questions prepared. In the group session, that's going to be 30 minutes in length, and you'll share that virtual space with other Smith students, Mount Holyoke students, and Amherst College students. Last year, it was not, you were only in the group sessions, you're only able to see the employer, your camera wasn't on. However, be prepared just in case it's slightly different this year. And as well, in this session, you may be introducing yourself or typing in your question into a chat feature similar to the one we have here. Step 3, researching employers and preparing questions. So once you have chosen the employers and organizations that you want to meet with, you want to start looking at their website and their career pages, even on Handshake, which I'll show you in a minute, to see what their products are, what their services are, what the job or internship is that they have posted. We don't want you to be taken off guard if the employer says, oh, so tell me a little bit about you and what do you know about our company or what interests you about our internship? So do a little bit of advanced research. The way you probably will ask a question in the 30-minute group session is by raising a virtual hand and then being called upon by the employer, or by asking your question in the chat. Remember, this isn't an interview. Okay, so don't feel nervous about asking your questions. The employers that come to career fairs in person and virtually are super excited to talk to you about your interest and talent. All right, so step 4, find a quiet space and clean background. The browser that works best is Chrome. However, a number of students have used other technology and it's worked fine. Try to use a clean background so that nothing is distracting between you and the employer if you're having a one-on-one conversation. Virtual backgrounds are absolutely fine as long as they're professional. And then step 5, show up early and dress appropriately. So when we say show up early, it's actually talking about launching Handshake 5 minutes in advance. So on the day of the fair and your first session, you are going to log into Handshake and there'll be a button that says join now. And if you log in at least 5 minutes early, you'll have the opportunity to make sure everything's up and running and clean and clear and your video looks good, and you'll be able to test your audio and your background before joining the virtual session. When you're done with the session, there will be a tab that says leave session. So we encourage you, especially for the, for both, but for the 30-minute sessions, if your question has been answered after 5 or 10 minutes, try to stay for the whole 30-minute session to be professional. There's probably something else you're going to pick up that somebody else asks later. So stay the full 30 minutes. And Handshake won't allow you to double book yourself. So you'll always have at least 5 minutes between each of your sessions. Excuse me, you'll have 1 minute between each of your sessions to get to your next virtual sessions. That's the beauty of the virtual space, right? You just need 60 seconds.
Yeah, and Patty, another quick thing there is to just make sure that you are on time for those sessions. So the employer is definitely waiting for you on the other end, and this is an actual appointment. So make sure that you are there on time.
So I just jumped into Handshake and I want to show you step one, which was updating your profile. So I'm going to come to the top right-hand side of Handshake where I see my little tiny picture. You might have a picture, you might have your initials on the top right, and I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to just click on the first tab, My Profile. So it says my name. I am on here as a senior at Smith. This is my demo account. And it says my profile is 15% complete. Well, I can still attend the virtual career fair, but I would encourage you, if I were actually going to the fair, to make sure that my profile is more like 75 to 100% complete by adding in my interests, my personal information, my skills, past projects and courses and organizations that I've worked on, because employers are going to be able to see this. The other thing I would want to do is coming back to my picture up at the top right. I'm going to click on it and I'm going to go to settings. This is very important. We want to make sure that our privacy settings in Handshake are switched to community or employers. If it's not switched to community or employers, the employer will not be able to see your Handshake profile at all, and that's including your resume. Scrolling down a little bit more is the work authorization tab, and you'll want to make sure that this is filled out as well. The third important piece after your profile settings will be to go back to the top right, click on your initials or your little picture, and you are going to go to My Documents. This is where you'll see your resume. I have already uploaded my resume and it is visible to employers. You'll want to make sure that this tab is checked off, visible, and that your resume is uploaded. You don't need any other documents for the fair. So now I'm going to go back to the homepage of Handshake, and we can also come back to this at the end of the presentation if you wanted to go back through any of those steps. So step 2 is going to be registering for the career fair and signing up for the sessions. As you can see on the main Handshake page, the career fair is right down here, but I'm just going to say that in the future, if you're ever looking for career fairs, you can go to the Events tab and click on the tab Career Fair to see all career fairs coming up. So here is the Smith College Business Finance Engineering Fair for next week. And I'm going to come to that page. And as you can see on the top right, I have already registered. So if you have not done this, you'll definitely want to click on Register for the fair. However, that's not the only thing you need to do to take part. I'm going to show you how to sign up for the one-on-one or group sessions. First, I want to just scroll down and show you there are 22 employers registered for the fair. And here they are in alphabetical order. And as I scroll down, you can see that, for example, Chatham Financial, they are at the virtual career fair they have an internship and job posted. US work authorization is required. And you can continue to scroll down to see what employers have internships and jobs, or just one or the other. So Collins Aerospace, internship and job, US work authorization required, and so on and so forth. So this is really great if you're just looking for internships. You can scroll down and then limit who it is that you want to spend your time speaking to based on what opportunities that they have. So I'm going to scroll back up and I'm going to click on the fair again. And I'm going to click on, excuse me, here we go, available sessions. And this is where, after you've registered for the fair, you're going to want to choose who you want to speak to, and if you want a one-on-one, that's the 10-minute slot with employers, or a 30-minute with a group session. And you will click on that to confirm. Again, Handshake won't allow you, Handshake will prevent you from double booking, so you don't have to worry about that. If you sign up for a one-on-one session or a 30-minute session, and then all of a sudden you realize you don't want to attend, as Kate mentioned, don't no-show, just cancel your session. And there will be a tab that says cancel sessions in your schedule, in the tab your schedule. If you're thinking which way should I go in terms of the one-on-one chat with an employer or a group chat, I think it's really dependent on what you're looking for. The 10-minute one-on-one is great for people who want more individualized attention or to stand out, and you really want to showcase why you're interested. And then the group session might be for someone who's just gaining more information and wants to hear a little bit about the employer. Remember, it's not your goal to meet with every single employer. It's not needed. So if you do decide to go into the one-on-one, you can imagine that employer is going to say, oh, hello, Kate, or hello, Jason. How's it going? How's the semester? Tell me about yourself. Tell us a little bit about your interest in Collins Aerospace, right? Who knows? They might not start with that, but I would imagine that that would be a pretty normal thing to begin with. So what's the best way to introduce, or as we sometimes say, to give a pitch? Very simple. Your name, your class year, your academic focus. This is all very simple and efficient. Just letting them know who you are and why you're there talking to them. So I'll share with you a little practice pitch that I have and of what I might say. And it goes a little something like this. Hello, my name is Patty Smith, and I'm a junior at Smith College, majoring in economics. I'm a member of the Smith College Women in Business organization, where I pitch ideas and create programming. Recently, I've been taking classes in computer science and have enjoyed the problem solving and creative aspect that comes with this. I'm very impressed with Chatham Financial Summer Internship because of the opportunity to combine my interest in tech with the business side of your company. There's my example. It's a little actually wordy. I don't even think you have to say that much. I just, that's so. Don't feel intimidated by that at all. Just being able to answer the questions here will be fine. We also have a great video on our YouTube page that is about 5 minutes in length, where we share with you how to prepare the answer to the tell me about yourself question. So that could be helpful. Just to reiterate, to try to be on time, you will not be able to join a group or one-on-one session late. The other thing is to email a thank you note to whoever it is that you meet with. And most of the time, the human resources manager or whoever is presenting at the virtual career fair will share their name and email address. It is absolutely appropriate to type in the chat or ask them for that email. And if they're able to give that information out, they will. And you could send a follow-up thank you note, letting them know that you're just as enthusiastic, if not more, after the virtual career fair to apply for their internship or full-time job. You can also then attach your resume, even though they will have it because you've made your Handshake documents visible. But that's just another way to connect with them and show your professionalism and your interest, is by following up with a thank you. And apply. Mention in cover letters that you've met with representatives of their company. Use content from the information learned at career fairs, at networking events and interviews. Follow the company on LinkedIn. Perhaps you even want to follow or connect with the recruiter that you spoke to at the virtual career fair on LinkedIn. I also want to share that we have drop-in hours every day in the Lazarus Center between 11 and 12 and 2 to 3:30. If you're thinking, oh yes, I have to get my resume polished and organized before the fair next week.
Hi, I have a question about how to follow up with employers, because usually, like, I want to be polite, but I feel like I tend to get too wordy and I don't really express myself well enough. So I was wondering if there's a template, or if you could just elaborate on how you would follow up with an employer with a focus and express your interest express your interest again.
This is a great question. Thank you so much for bringing it up. Well, if they're at the career fair, they probably have a job or internship posted. So you're going to be the one thing, don't forget, you're going to apply. You're going to let them know how interested you are, because you're going to apply to that job or internship with a great cover letter and resume. But right away, to answer your question of, within 24 hours, it would be wonderful if you sent them an email, subject line, "Thank you for attending the Smith College Virtual Career Fair." And in the body of the email, just reiterate that whatever it was that you heard that reinvigorated you or excited you or interested you about the possibility of interning with said company, and let that recruiter know that you'll be enthusiastically following up or applying to the position posted in Handshake. And attached is your resume so that they have it via email this way as well. The sentiment here is simply, thank you, I'm excited, and you will be hearing from me, right? So something short and sweet. Feel free to, if you'd rather reach out via email or schedule an appointment in Handshake, that's how to best connect with us, or on social media.
Sorry, I have one last question.
Oh, sure.
So it was kind of follow up to my last. When you reach out on LinkedIn, the message that you sent, would it be in the same format as an email, like with the hello and then the body and then your signature at the end?
Yes, pretty much. I'd say the one difference is in LinkedIn, when you go to connect with someone for the first time, the characters that they give you, so the actual character count or letter count that they give you is much smaller than an actual email. So you might only have literally 3 sentences to say, "Dear so-and-so," the name of the recruiter. "It was wonderful to meet you virtually yesterday at the career fair. I hope we can connect here on LinkedIn so that I can stay tuned of other opportunities with your company," and then your name. That might be all you can actually get into an initial LinkedIn message to connect with someone. And that's okay, because that's the format of LinkedIn. Well, thank you, Kate. Thank you everyone for being here today, and hope to see you all soon, and especially at the virtual career fair next week.